What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Dark Avenger Live. I almost ended the stream instead of actually continuing it. How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody's doing great. As soon as these start getting more consistent, I'm sure a lot more people will be around as I start the streams. But until then, it's okay. I understand that I've not been exactly the most consistent person on YouTube the past half a decade. So I'm getting there. I'm getting there. It's just taking me time to get back to being consistent. So we got some news to talk about today. I actually found a good set of articles to actually talk about. I'm going to probably start the show off talking about Deadpool Wolverine because I finally got to see the movie. And then I actually picked up, I can't show that one, but I actually picked up two variants that I actually want to show off. Well, one variant and one art from Dynamic Forces. So anyway, and then I actually have some other things too. So we'll talk about we'll have a little haul video thing. Now that we're getting back into the school year season, things are starting to get a little bit easier, a little bit better. So I'm finally able to kind of get things back on track and get the videos rolling again. I know I keep talking about the reviews. The good news is we caught up on the hauls. Now it's just about catching up on this month and catching up on the reviews. So once again, like I said in the last episode, we're going to be definitely doing I see you lurking, Brilly. So we're going to be doing a 1 month for June, 1 month for July, and we are getting very close to the end of August. I mean, I think, next week's, is it next week or this week? I'm trying to remember. No, it's this Wednesday, yeah. So we're going to do a month for June, a month for July, and then wait till, I guess, the end of this week, and then just do a month for August. And then we'll get back to the weekly stuff. But I am glad to say that the Dark Avenger live shows aren't once a month anymore now, since I broke that chain doing this live show, I believe 2 weeks after I did the last one. And there's a reason why I missed last week. For some reason, Monday did not feel like Monday to me last week. And I was like, oh, I've got my live show on Monday, thinking about it on Tuesday. And I'm like, oh, shit, wait. It's Tuesday today. So apologies for that. I'm going to start maybe like setting these up in advance. So this way I get like a little notification about it on my Discord that reminds the viewers about the show, which will then remind me that I have to do a show. So that might be where we're going with that. But anyway, this week, actually, there were two things that came out from McFarlane that I remember pre-ordering, but I was like, oh, shoot, I forgot that I had them pre-ordered. But I'm not sad about it. One being the Superman from Our Worlds at War. Basically, this Superman had the yellow on his S changed to black, as well as the yellow S on his cape was also turned black. And yes, I did check this model out because apparently the eagle came loose, so I had to take it out to fix it. And this is actually the picture that's on the card because you get a little trading card. And because this is a McFarlane digital figure, there's also another card in here to redeem this in a three-dimensional world, which I have no care really about, but I do love the black that they have in the S on this figure, and I am happy that they kind of tried to replicate what Ed McGuinness did with Superman, because this was around the Ed McGuinness era for Superman comics. This one I was really excited for, but then my favorite, in my favorite costume too, they released, well, they're calling this Connor Kent, but they released Superboy from the Teen Titan era, basically with the black shirt and the denim jeans. Also, if you read Jeff Johns' Teen Titans run, where Superboy and Wonder Girl and everybody were in that, where the Young Justice team basically became the Teen Titans for a time, there was a point where we find out that Superboy was a clone of Lex Luthor and Superman, and Lex Luthor put in a code or an audio cue which would turn Superboy evil. Of course, Superboy did find a way to break free of that, but for a time he shaved his head bald. And what I do like about this figure is there is a 1 in, like, I think 10 rare chase figure for this, and that figure actually has the L cut out on the shirt, and that's the possessed Superboy. I obviously got the standard one. I'm glad I did. I really didn't want to get the chase one because this figures of Connor sell out super quick. So the fact that I got one, I'm very happy. It also comes with a ground piece, a flying piece, extra hands. Like I said, two heads, two extra heads. One being an angry head, one being the Lex Luthor one. If I ever am in the wild and I see one in a store and it's the Chase one, I might grab it. But I'm just glad to get this version of the collector's edition of Connor. I love Connor. I really hope they make a Superboy series at some point. Now that we're getting all these different DC comics, maybe DC will see that Marvel's putting out like 77 books a month and be like, maybe we should put another book out. Maybe we can get a Superboy series again. I would like that. I would be very happy with that. So now I ended up picking up 2 other books. This one I actually got from a store, a side store. Did not know this was a variant. I'm a huge fan of Hybrid. For those of you that don't know, Separation Anxiety, or back when there was Venom Lethal Company and there were a bunch of symbiotes, Hybrid was a combination of several symbiotes in one, and there apparently was a hybrid variant that came out with Venom issue number 18, legacy numbering 183. And the one thing I love about this is the person who sent this to me sent it in a Mylar, and I got to tell y'all, when it comes to Mylar, it feels so much better than regular comic covers, but it's so expensive. But I did end up grabbing this. I love this cover. Not sure if I actually own this issue. I'm not sure if I was reading this at this time, but just the cover alone was worth it. Probably end up on a wall at some point. Let's see. Now, this came from Dynamic Forces, and I actually have a couple of boxes at some point that I do want to open from Dynamic Forces because I've made a few orders, and there's actually one more that's coming at some point. I think it comes next month or the month after because it all depends on. I did get a book CGC'd from them when it was on. They have like daily sales, so they had one for a book that I really wanted to have CGC'd and maybe put on the wall. I already own a readable version of it, so I wanted to get a CGC version. So there are a lot of remarks and sketch variants that they blank covers that are sketched on. This one is done by, I want to make sure I say the name right, Ken Haser. Ken Haser. And it is a What If Venom issue number 1. This is a sketch that he did on the blank variant. I love it. I'm actually looking to move this poster off of the wall and re-expand the comic books all the way down to the end where the light switch is. So I would say it's going to take about 4 books going this way and then 4 books going that way. So 8 books. So this is probably going to be one of them. I love the sketch a lot. The Venom on the black background, really sick. I love it. And it has the Dynamic Force sticker, the certificate of authenticity. It is nice and sealed, and this is where it stays. You will be seeing possibly more of this. We will see, but I am getting very much into covers. I know a long time ago, a 10-year younger Dark Avenger talked about not wanting to buy comics for specific covers or more than one of the same issue. Older Dark Avenger might actually like a few of the covers because they're asking price or a couple of bucks more. This was only about $5 more. So yes, I am getting into variants a bit, and I've noticed other people on YouTube also are buying a bunch of variants. So I'm not the only one. So yeah, I've fallen into the I like, as long as it's not $70 or $80. Or those really expensive, like Transformers issue number 11, the Ultra Magnus. I went and looked it up on eBay and saw $100, and I was like, click, no. And then there was also the Jim Lee Rogue variant for Uncanny X-Men or X-Men number 1. And I was like, oh, okay, let's see how much it is. $70. Now, if it's a Gwenom or something like that, maybe a Spider-Man one or something that I can pass up, we'll see. But stuff like that, yeah, anything, no, $100 is way too much for a single issue. And as much as I did like the X books, I'll save that for the review, even though the reviews are going to be very abridged until we catch up to the weekly format. Yeah, no. I see we have a Shy in comments. Hello, Shy. Welcome, welcome. And I see a bunch of Tevye now. Let's slow down on the comments just a little bit, Tevye. And let's delete that one just because I don't like the way that's said. Okay. But yes, no, I agree. I wouldn't pay that much for a cover. Not for a cover. For other things maybe, but not for a cover. So I did get to see Deadpool and Wolverine recently. The movie was excellent. I walked in knowing it was going to be an excellent movie. This is spoiler free. Don't worry if you haven't seen the movie yet. You don't have to cut out of the live show because you have to see it. I feel like if I sit here and tell you the movie, even in an in-depth review, first of all, I'd be shooting myself in the foot because that would make a really excellent video. So it's an idea. If you guys want me to do a in-depth review of Deadpool Wolverine, let me know. I might consider doing that a video. But my non-spoiler review of it is Hugh Jackman as Wolverine again in the yellow and blue costume, all the different variants, because I'm sure all of you have heard by now that there are different variants you get to see of Wolverine, the pictures, and I'm sure the little shorts. I'm not going to give any type of indication of which ones or anything. It was spectacular. I loved it. I would watch it again. And I'm telling y'all now, if they release a steelbook of it on Amazon, I'm going to probably end up pre-ordering that in advance to make sure I get my hands on a copy of that. I hope there's an extended cut. I hope there are scenes we didn't get to see with other characters we didn't get to see because, wow. And I love that a lot of people have already asked Ryan Reynolds if there's going to be a Deadpool 4. And he's like, oh, heavens no. I have to say that might be true only because I think Deadpool's going to be in a bunch of the big Marvel Universe movies along with all the other Marvel characters. So we might not see Deadpool 4 for a while. I mean, again, Hugh Jackman said no to being Wolverine again. And here we are where Hugh Jackman played Wolverine again. I have no opinion on the new Crow movie. I will not be seeing it, Tevye. I will just tell you that off the rip. Not gonna see it. Just not. But yeah, Deadpool, I will say you are right. That is something to point out. Deadpool Wolverine made $1 billion in the box office. It is one of the most successful movies, most successful day of release, most successful weekend. It broke a bunch of records, and I'm not surprised. I am very happy about it. And if anything, Marvel take notes on the Deadpool movie because holy crap, they did it right. They did it right. They did it excellent. And God, I wish we could see more Hugh Jackman Wolverine. I hope we get to see him at least one or two more times, whether it be cameos or in the next Deadpool movie or like here, there, and everywhere. Somehow we get to see Hugh Jackman for a while longer. I would love to see more Wolverine in his suit. Anyways, with that, let's get into some of the news because this is definitely going to be a shorter show, probably a half-hour show, but how do we do again? I got to remember how to do everything again. Share screen. I want to start with this one. Yes. We're going to go with that one. I'll have to click share. Okay, so we're sharing screens. I want to make sure that we do it this way. Y'all don't need to see the background. So the first big news piece I heard was that Daniel Warren Johnson is revealing he's leaving Transformers, and he's leaving Transformers at issue 24. Mind you, this month, Transformers will just be dropping issue number 12. So with Daniel Warren leaving the book, that still leaves an entire year's worth of storytelling before we have to worry about a new writer coming on. And I know a lot of people are starting to be like, oh, well, who's going to jump in? Who's this? Who's that? What's going to happen to Transformers? Again, we're only getting one book a month, and we're just hitting issue 12 this September. So we have a whole year from September before Daniel Warren runs over. Then when we get into, late 2025 going into 2026, then we're going to have a new writer, and then we're going to have to start talking about, oh, well, now what's going to happen. Again, we have New York Comic Con, which I have some news about that. We have San Diego Comic Con. We have so many comic conventions between now and next September, with next year's New York Comic Con literally a month after. I don't think we really have to worry right now, but I am curious to hear who they're going to bring on to do. I don't think they even know who they're going to bring in yet to do Transformers, and that's kind of why Daniel Warren couldn't say, because there's a whole year's worth of the book still to be told by him before we get into that. So I wouldn't worry about it right now. I'm more concerned on who they're going to bring in, but it's Image. I'm not really concerned because Image has done really great stuff. It's very rare that an Image book is ruined by a writer change or by a team change. So I'm going to do one more screen share, and then I think I'm just going to talk about the rest. Let's go to this one because this one involves looking at it. And that is, we're getting a West Coast Avengers. And not only that, but we have two more to show off. I'm going to show two more off real quick. So we're getting a look at the foil Firestar variant cover reveal for West Coast Avengers issue number 1. It looks awesome. I am definitely going to be trying out West Coast Avengers when it drops, and I am definitely getting that cover. That is a nice cover. I will say Marvel and DC have not disappointed with their foil variants yet. I have missed several, but my goal is to get as many as possible, especially in a reasonable price range. You're going to charge $30-$40 for a variant that's foil, I'm not going to grab it. But if you're doing like the $6-7, and especially if you get it through previews, not previews, but if you pre-order 3 months in advance and it's even cheaper, I'm not worried about paying the $5-6 for it. I'm looking forward to West Coast Avengers, and I'm loving that cover. I will say that. Hell yes, absolutely. So we're going to switch the page now to the other thing that I actually have to show, because there's a picture I'd like to talk about. And that is, well, first let me get to the page and scroll up, because I don't want to be in the middle of the page. There we go. Now we go back and we click share. All new Venom has been announced. This is going to be taking place after Venom Wars. And a new Venom is coming into the Marvel Universe. He's got a gold instead of white symbol, gold eyes. Anything that's white is basically now gold. Even the title is in gold. It's coming December 2024. And Al Ewing is going to be writing it. And I do want to mention something that he mentions here, because I might do something with this. One of the things he mentions is if people have a strong hankering for something different from me, this is where this is what you're going to want to see. And then he also mentions that we're not going to know who the new Venom is. Dylan is actually going to be the one that is gumshoeing around looking for who it could be, but the possibilities have been listed already. We've got Robbie Robertson, we've got Madam Mask, we've got Rick Jones, and we've got Luke Cage. Those are the suspects, and one of them is going to be the all-new Venom. But which one and why, we're going to have to read the book to find out. I like that. I like that set, the way they set it up. But this is very much normal New York City. Everywhere we go in the story is a place you could go, or at least the type of place you could go. So in other words, he is taking places that exist in New York City and putting them as certain places in this book. I do love this cover, by the way. I love it. I am yes for that. I might actually try to look up some of the places. as we go through the book. I might actually do a little fun series if it's not like places that are in like remote locations that are really hard to get to. I might actually go to some of the places that show up in the book and do a video going, this took place in Venom issue, whatever. And here's the actual spot where it takes place. I like that. I'm down for this series. And just like with West Coast Avengers and what do you call it? Oh, I didn't talk about the other one yet, but I'm going to be getting this series just like with West Coast Avengers. I'm very excited for all new Venom. So this is going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, who didn't see this coming? Hellverine. It has been announced that Hellverine is getting his own ongoing series. I mean, you introduced him. It was originally Logan. Now we've got this mini-series going on. It's clearly not Logan. If you haven't been reading the series, highly recommend you do, especially now. But because it's doing so well, because for some reason Wolverine or a Wolverine mixed with Ghost Rider really interests people, and they're even making a figure for it. Or no, I'm sorry, the figure is the What If. I apologize. The figure from Marvel Legends is the What If one, but I'm sure eventually we'll get an actual Hellverine figure. But until then, I knew it was going to happen. When Marvel released this miniseries, I said if this miniseries sells even more than 2 copies, which it did, it definitely did. I knew it was going to become an ongoing thing, because when Marvel sees that people want something, they will drop at least 12-issue ongoing series. They'll call it an ongoing series for a year, and then when the numbers drop, whenever that happens, whether it be issue 12 or issue 24, then the character will either end up on a team and the solo book end, or the character will completely disappear and the solo book will end. I'll be grabbing the first issue, especially because I'm sure there'll be another foil cover. And I've got all the Hellverine foil covers so far. So I'll try it out. I'll see where it goes. I have been liking this miniseries. I missed out on the first series. So we'll see where Hellverine goes. But I'm not surprised that this is what we're getting, especially with the character. See, okay, I will spoil this, especially because if you look up the news piece, you're going to see the clause. You're going to know who it is. Dawkins is the Hellverine. I love Dawkins. So the fact that he's getting his own solo book again, of course I'm going to be there for Dawkins. So we'll see where things go. Not surprised. Hope we get a good team on the book and hope it lasts more than 12 issues and it's got a good story to tell. Now, we talked about comic conventions. I gotta mention this. New York Comic Con is going to be extending their days. Normally, New York Comic Con is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday being the first day where, everybody's coming in. You get nice sales, not the best sales. And then Sunday being the last day, and that's where you get all the amazing sales. I love Sundays. That's where even if I spent $1,000 throughout the whole ordeal, at the end of the convention, I'll spend another $1,000 on Sunday and bring home twice the amount of stuff. But anyway, we are now getting it on Wednesday. That is right. That is 5 days of New York Comic Con. So from what I'm understanding, the industry professionals who participate in New York Comic Con each year are and a cornerstone of making the event what it is today by extending our programming to Wednesday for the first time this year. It's happening this year. We are able to build our offering to bring more value to our incredible professional partners. So, yes, anyone who got their New York Comic Con tickets for this year, if you got the full pass, unless maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong, but they're adding Wednesday to the listing from what I'm getting here. So, hooray. We're getting a 5th day. Unfortunately, I will not be there this year. Might not even be there next year. But my goal is to eventually end up back at New York Comic Con. Would actually be poetic to show back up at New York Comic Con in 2025 because the last video I did was in 2015. So actually, it would make sense for me to return at 2020 at the 2025 convention. So if you'd like to see me at New York Comic Con 2025, you know how to support the channel, you know how to support me and everything else. And I'm going to keep fighting to be consistent, and hopefully we will get back to New York Comic Con. So a year from today, I'll be telling you about how I got my pass and where I'm getting ready for the big event. And yes, I would be going for all 5 days, or 4 if the 5th day doesn't work, because I love New York Comic Con. I love convention. The atmosphere is something I recommend to everyone to try. Even if you are not big on, I'm not good with huge crowds, but for New York Comic Con, for some reason, the anxiety just disappears because it's a place where you are with people, especially if you're one of the people that likes to float around on the comic book side of YouTube and listen to us reviewers and talkers and openers and unboxers and CGCers and whatnot, anything to do with comics. These are your people. So I guess for some reason, the anxiety isn't as bad. I mean, I do get anxiety spike. I did get 1 or 2, but not as bad as it usually is when I'm in a crowd of people that I don't know at all. But wonderful experience. Highly recommend you do it at least once. And then the last piece of news, and what might be bringing me back to Star Wars. So Star Wars, The Battle for Jakku is happening very, very soon. But the battle, the Galactic Civil War that's going to be going on starting in November. So 2 months from now, the Star Wars books are going to be jumping forward. So right now, the Star Wars books take place before Return of the Jedi. So in other words, Han is still encased in carbonite. Luke lost his lightsaber, so he's using the yellow lightsaber for now. This event that's happening in Star Wars is going to jettison us through, from what I'm understanding, I'm trying to find where it says it. Okay. Last month, it's revealed that Marvel Star Wars Comics line would conclude its post-Empire Strikes Back storyline and enter the new post-Return of the Jedi era beginning in October. So starting in October, we're going to be jumping into post-Return of the Jedi and leaving Empire Strikes Back. So this month, next month is going to be the grand finale for all main Star Wars titles being inside of the Empire Strikes Back. However, my question now becomes, what happens to Darth Vader? Because now, if we're going into post-Jedi, Return of the Jedi, Darth Vader ain't there anymore. So we might be seeing the end to the Darth Vader comic, or the Darth Vader comic book will take place in a different era. It will take place still either post Empire Strikes Back or even further back than that. It's going to be separated or broken off from the Star Wars line. So I might actually be checking out all of the Star Wars books, or keeping a very close eye on them coming into even September. Walking into September just to see what books are ending, what books aren't, what's going to be going on. And it's a perfect jumping on point. What's up, Black Knight? Welcome to the stream. So it's a perfect jumping on point for people like me who haven't been reading Star Wars. I mean, I have the first issue. I believe it's behind my head. Yeah. The first issue when they started, this is Star Wars issue number 1, which took place right after The Empire Strikes Back. Years later, here we are now. We're ending that era and we're going into the post era. And I'm actually happy that we're going into the post era because, again, we're missing Han Solo. We're missing key characters. If we can't have Han Solo with Darth Vader, we are losing Darth Vader. But I feel like, I don't know, maybe Darth Vader's not doing well. I don't know. I have not been reading Star Wars. To be honest, Star Wars has gotten so deep and so much has happened. there was no jumping on point for me. There really was zero way for me to jump into this book and know where I'm at, why I'm at, what's been going on. It's a lot's been going on. So I decided to wait. And now here we are at a point where it's jump on friendly. I'm really not too happy with the in-between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi era. I will be honest with y'all. I think this was definitely a weaker era for the main Star Wars book. For Darth Vader, though, from what I remember, Darth Vader, when I stopped doing my reviews, was doing amazing. And I was even enjoying Darth Vader. The problem, once again, is I just fell out of reading it. Probably maybe I'll grab an omnibus or two later on down the road. But Darth Vader, I feel, was the strongest throughout this entire era of Star Wars. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to be the strongest, whether it be the main Star Wars title or whatever comes along with it post Return of the Jedi. Very, very interested. Very, very interested. But that's all the news I've got, and that's about all I have for right now. Again, I do apologize. I know I keep talking about catching up, bringing series back. I do want to do all that. We're at the end of the summer. A lot of crazy stuff is going on. I'm just trying to get my bearings, so please do bear with me. I would have had this show more consistent. Like I said, I just messed up somehow and missed Monday completely last week and remembered about the show on Tuesday saying, oh, shoot, Monday just passed. I forgot to do the show. So I am trying to keep at least one thing consistent on the channel for now until I can get myself, just reacquainted to doing YouTube, to doing everything else, and getting everything out there. As always, links in the description below, all the social media links. I'm streaming this both on YouTube and on Twitch. If you'd like to check it out on YouTube, Dark Avenger Media, or you just go into youtube.com/DarkAvengerC86. If you'd like to watch this on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/ChaoticFalcon86. Watching it in either place helps. On YouTube, it helps build my view hours. On Twitch, depending on what I'm doing on Twitch, it just helps me with views and subscribers. So it benefits no matter where. I love to have y'all on YouTube because that's where the show originated and what it's about. So hopefully y'all come check out other videos that are on the channel. I'll be working on a few. And like I said, if you'd like to see a review, a spoiler-filled review of Deadpool and Wolverine, let me know in the comments below. Let me know in general, and maybe I will sit down and do a review of it. Till then, thank you all so much for being here. Take care. Keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see all of you really soon in the next video. Take care, y'all.